You are listening to Holy Sync Radio Podcast, today's episode, Quiet Place. And here's your host, Tomas and Nilsa.
Welcome back. Glad you are here. I'm Nilsa.
And I'm Thomas. You know, one of the hardest things I've ever had to learn wasn't how to work harder. It wasn't how to make more money. It wasn't even how to forgive. It was how to be quiet. Not because I like noise, but because when everything around you finally gets quiet, all you're left with are your thoughts. And sometimes that's a scary place to be.
I think that's why so many people avoid quiet. It's not because they don't like silence. It's because silence has a way of revealing what's really going on inside of us. When everything else is turned off, we're face to face with ourselves, and that can be uncomfortable.
It really can. Even today, I'll be sitting in my studio working on music or writing or building something for Holy Sync Radio. I'll look up, and it's 2 or 3 in the morning. I'll finally go to bed because I'm exhausted. My body is tired, but my mind isn't. It just keeps going, thinking about tomorrow, thinking about everything I still have to do, thinking about Moldova, thinking about the radio station, thinking about the books, thinking about whether I'm doing enough. And there are nights where I just whisper, Jesus. Then a few moments later, Jesus. Sometimes that's the only prayer I've got. Not because I don't know what to pray, but because I know who I'm talking to.
I don't think you're the only one. We talk to teenagers all the time, and even though their lives look different than ours did, they're carrying a lot. They're carrying pressure. Pressure to fit in, pressure to perform, pressure to know what they want to do with the rest of their lives before they've even graduated. They're always connected, but somehow they feel more alone than ever.
That's exactly right. People think anxiety is new. It's not. It just looks different today. When I was a senior in high school back in 1984, we didn't have social media. We didn't scroll until 2 in the morning. When I couldn't sleep, I just sat there with my thoughts. Sometimes I wish I would have had a distraction. But looking back, maybe God knew exactly what he was doing because eventually I had to face what was inside of me.
And that's not something most people want to do. We'd rather stay busy. We'd rather fill every quiet moment with something else. But healing usually doesn't happen while we're distracted.
No, it doesn't. There was a season in my life after my second divorce that changed me forever. I'd lost my dad. My marriage had fallen apart. I was carrying anger I didn't even know what to do with. I was angry at people. I was angry at circumstances. If I'm being honest, I was probably angry at myself too. Every night I'd go home and it was quiet. There wasn't another relationship waiting. There wasn't another distraction that could fix what was broken inside of me. There was just me and God. Now, I wish I could tell you I handled that perfectly. I didn't. There was a lot of drinking during that season because I was trying to drown out the noise, trying to silence the thoughts, trying to escape everything I didn't want to feel. But alcohol never healed anything. It just delayed what God wanted to do.
I think that's important for people to hear because distractions come in a lot of different forms. For one person, it might be alcohol. For someone else, it might be social media. For someone else, it might be another relationship or staying busy every second of the day. The distraction changes, but the reason behind it is usually the same. We don't want to sit with what's hurting.
Exactly. But here's what I finally learned. Healing begins with honesty. I'll say that again because somebody needs to hear it. Healing begins with honesty, not pretending you're okay, not acting strong, not convincing everybody else you've got it all together. Just being honest with yourself and honest with God. Now, here's the amazing part. God already knows everything you're carrying. He already knows your fears. He already knows your failures. He already knows the anxiety. So why does he want us to tell him? Because something changes in us when we finally name it. When we stop hiding it, when we stop pretending, that's when healing begins.
I think sometimes people hear, be honest with God, and they almost laugh because they think, well, he already knows. Of course he does. But honesty isn't about informing God. It's about opening our hearts. It's saying, Lord, this is where I really am. That's a completely different conversation than trying to impress him.
You know, that's one of the reasons I love King David so much. David wasn't perfect, not even close. He failed. He made terrible decisions. He experienced fear, loss, heartbreak, yet over and over again, he kept running back to God. One of the prayers I've been praying a lot lately, especially as we're getting ready for this mission trip to Moldova, comes from Psalm 51. Create in me a clean heart, O God. I pray that almost every day, not because I think I've arrived. I pray it because I know I still need him. I want my heart to stay teachable. I want him to keep changing me because I've learned something. When I try really hard to control everything, I usually make a bigger mess. But when I simply keep following Christ, life starts making a whole lot more sense.
I love that because I think people confuse surrender with giving up. They're not the same thing. Giving up says nothing matters. Surrender says, God, I trust you more than I trust myself. That's a completely different heart.
That's exactly it. I used to think control meant holding on tighter, trying harder, figuring everything out myself. Now, I think real control is opening your hands, saying, like, God, this belongs to you now. Because the tighter I held on, the more anxious I became, the more I surrendered, the more peace I found. Everything we've been talking about really brings me back to one of my favorite chapters in the Bible, Psalm 23. Most people have heard it. Some people can even quote it. But I think sometimes we read it so fast that we miss what's actually happening. David didn't write those words while everything was going great. He wasn't sitting in a palace with no worries. David knew what it was like to run for his life. He knew betrayal. He knew failure. He knew what it felt like to carry regret. And yet, in the middle of all that, he starts with these words, the Lord is my shepherd. And he doesn't start with his problems. He starts with his shepherd. I think that's why David found peace where other people would have fallen apart.
And I love that David doesn't say, the Lord was my shepherd, or I hope he'll be my shepherd. He says, the Lord is my shepherd. Present tense, right here, right now, in the middle of whatever I'm walking through. Sometimes we think peace comes after everything gets better, but David reminds us that peace begins when we remember who is walking with us.
That's good, because the next verse says, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Think about that for a minute. God doesn't just restore our circumstances. He restores our soul. Our circumstances may take a while to change. Some of them might not change overnight, but God can begin restoring your heart today. I think that's a promise a lot of people need to hear.
I read something a long time ago that really stuck with me. Sheep won't drink from rushing water. It scares them. A good shepherd doesn't force them. He leads them to still water. He slows down enough that the sheep will trust him. I think sometimes that's exactly what God is doing with us. He's not trying to rush us. He's teaching us to trust him.
I love that picture because that's exactly how God dealt with me. He didn't yell at me. He didn't shame me. He didn't say, Thomas, hurry up and fix yourself. He just kept leading me, little by little, one step at a time. Looking back now, I realized something. Those quiet nights that I used to dread, those became some of the holiest moments of my life because that's where God started rebuilding me, not all at once, little by little, one piece at a time.
And maybe somebody listening needs to hear that today. You're frustrated because you think healing is taking too long, but healing isn't usually an event, it's a journey. Every conversation with God, every honest prayer, every time you choose trust instead of fear, you're taking another step behind the shepherd.
And maybe that's why Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow. Think about that. Most anxiety lives in tomorrow. What if this happens? What if I fail? What if nobody likes me? What if things never change? Jesus keeps bringing us back to today. Today's enough. Trust me today. Walk with me today. Follow me today. Tomorrow belongs to God and today belongs to us.
That's something we both keep learning. You can't have peace while trying to control everything, but you can have peace while trusting the one who already does. There's freedom in letting go. Not because life is suddenly easy, but because you're no longer carrying something you were never meant to carry.
So if you're listening today, maybe you're a teenager. Maybe you're a parent listening with your son or daughter. Maybe your mind has been racing every night. Can I give you one simple challenge? This week, find 5 quiet minutes. Leave your phone in another room. Don't turn on music. Don't turn on YouTube. Just sit with God. Read Psalm 23. Maybe pray Psalm 51. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Or maybe, like I've done so many nights, just whisper his name, Jesus. You'd be amazed what happens when you stop trying to carry tomorrow and simply spend a few quiet moments with him today.
The world is always going to be loud. There will always be another notification, another opinion, another reason to worry. But God's voice has never competed with the noise. He's always been found in the quiet. Sometimes the quiet place is exactly where your heart finally learns to rest.
And that's exactly why we wrote this next song. It's called Quiet Place. Our prayer is that while you listen, you won't just hear the music. You'll hear the shepherd gently reminding you, I've been with you all along.
Thank you for joining us today. If this encouraged you, share it with someone who needs it. New episodes drop every Saturday. You can find us at holysyncradio.com and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also available on the Apple app for download. And for parent resources, you can download them at tavaleauthor.com. Until next time, keep your heart soft and stay in sync. And remember,
God loves you.